In this tutorial, we will create an authentication system with Vue. So here we can register. So we'll register a user. Password is test. When we submit, we will redirect to the login page where we can log in with our user. And if we type sign in here, it displays hi test. So this is the name of the logged in user. When we log out, we redirected to login, and now you are not logged in. So this is how our authentication system will work. One thing to mention, we'll use HttpOnly cookies. So when we log in, we'll get a cookie from the backend. And if I remove this cookie, it says you are not logged in. So the authentication will be done using HttpOnly cookies. Before we build the app, I would like to remind you that this tutorial is meant to be combined with other videos here on YouTube. So if you like to use Vue with Laravel, Django, Deno, Nest.js or Go, I provided some links in the description and you can pick your favorite there. If you don't want to build a backend, don't worry, I have a solution for you. Also, make sure to check scalablescripts.com. Now I will show you how to build a backend without actually building it. So, if you already built the backend, you can skip this part. If you don't want to build it, then first, before I explain this repository, download Docker. So go to docker.com products Docker desktop and download the right version for your machine. I already did it and I have here an icon on top. So in order to build a backend, you have to install Docker. Now this repository is just a simple docker compose.yaml file. You can copy this file, you can download the code, you can do anything. In my case, I will just copy the code and I will do a git clone. So I will open my terminal and I will write git clone this repository. So now that is downloaded, let's go to the folder Auth API is called, and you have Docker installed. Run docker compose app. And now Docker will pull all the images and download all the files and it will build the backend for you. Now let's wait till it's completed. Now it's completed. So we are almost finished. Now I will type Control C, Command C to close the containers. And we need one last command. So first, I will do a docker compose app, but -d, so we don't want to see the logs here. So with this command, now we don't see anything. So we can clear it. It doesn't show anything. And let's run this last command. This will build the database. So everything is built. Now we can access localhost port 8000, and this is our backend running on port 8000. Now we will consume this API by building our app. So let's start creating the app. Make sure first to install Vue CLI. Go to cli.vuejs.org and install the Vue CLI. I already did it, so let's create the app. Vue create. I'll call the project Vue Auth. So I will manually select the features here. I will select TypeScript, router and Vuex. I will select the version 3 and I will pick the default values here. Now let's wait till it's completed. Now everything is completed. Let's go to the folder and run npm run serve. So the server is running right now, and let's copy this URL, paste it to the browser, and this is our Vue project running. And now let's open the project with my IDE. So I'm using WebStorm here. If you don't have it, you can use Visual Studio Code, it's the same. So here I will make some changes. I will remove the styles, and in app.view I will keep only the router view, and I will remove the views here. For the store we won't do anything. For the router here I will remove everything because we will create them again. So for the components I'll remove it, and for the assets I'll remove it. So I will keep it like this. Now let's add the template. Go to getbootstrap.com, click get started, and click this CSS link. Let's add it to our index.html. I'll add it here on the title. And click examples, and we will select the sign-in form here. View the page source, and what will we add is this main form here. I'll add it to main.view. So I will remove the router view, I will add it later. And we need to copy the sign-in form here, CSS. So I'll copy this, paste it here to the styles. And let's see what it looks like. So it looks like this. It can be better. I will remove this body and HTML styles here, and it will look like this. Now I will make some changes. I will remove this image. I will remove all the labels. This one and this. So I'll keep only the inputs and the button. I'll remove also the IDs here. So I want to keep everything really simple. And it looks like this. We need also to add a navigation. So I'll go back to getbootstrap.com, and we need to add a navigation. I will go to this navbar static, view the page source, and I will copy this navbar also. Paste it here on top, and this will look like this. Now let's make here some changes. This will be the home. Let's remove this button. I will remove also this form, and this will be just a div here, and the URL I will keep only one link. So let's see what it looks like. So it looks like this. This will be login. I will copy this, add another one, register. So we added the navigation. Now let's make a component for this navigation and create the components for all the other pages. So I'll cut this code, not this one, but this code, and I will create a component called nav. So this will be a Vue component called nav. So each Vue component has a template, a script, and a style. Here I will paste this HTML, and that is it for the moment. So the way to use this component now is to add it to the app.view. Here we'll add the navigation. So my ID automatically inserts it, so it's here in the end. A script tag. Here we have to import the navigation, and the component will need to be imported like this. So we imported this component. Now let's add the views. Inside we'll create the login, and the template for the login is this template here. I will copy the form inside, not the main, and I will paste it here. And inside the main div, I will put a router view. Here we'll render all the pages now. So we have the login here. Let's create the other components. Home, let's create a register. So register, and that's it. So we added 3 components. Let's connect them with the router. So the pages are, first, to add a route we have to put the path, and the empty path will be for the component. It will be for the home component. Let's import home component. So import home from @ stands for the source folder. So when we add @ here is the source folder, views, and home.view. This is a home component. Let's add the other components. So we need the login. So this is, I'll add a slash here just for the home, and this will be the login here as well. So I misspelled it, login. And the last one is register. This is slash register here, and this is register. So we added everything. Now we can see the home component here, but we didn't make the links work. So let's go to the navigation and change them all to a router link, and this will link to the main page. Let's remove the href here. Router link to /login, and the router link to /register. So let's see if it works. So login, register, and home. So all of them work. Now let's make the register work. First, why I'm not seeing the text is because I misspelled here is register. So if I go to the register again, we'll see the text. Now the register will have the same text, the same form, sorry, as the login. So I'll put this form here, and we'll change this text here to submit. Please register. And I will add another input, which is the name. So the register will have a name, email, and a password. So let's make it work by sending the request to the server. First, in Vue 3, we have to add the setup. And also I will make this file recognize TypeScript. So I will add lang ts here. TS stands for TypeScript. And now I will create 3 variables. I will import reactive from Vue. So reactive will automatically change the variables when we change them in the input or in the code. So it is a two-way data binding, and let's create them. So I'll create a variable called data is equal to reactive, and inside we will put the name. The default value for the name will be empty, email empty, and password empty. And let's return it. So we need to return the data so we can use it here in the form. So to use the data, we have to add the v model here for data.name. So this is how we add a model for every input. And this is the password. So right now these are binded. Every time we make a change, these values will change. In the end, we want to send a request to the server. So here I will add the submit form. Let's create a submit function. And let's return the submit function here. To use it, we have to use it like this. Also, I will add here .prevent, because default behavior will refresh our page, but submit.prevent will stop the page to refresh. And now what I will do is just console log the data. So let's inspect, and here I will put some random values, submit, and as we can see, we got a name, email, and a password. So everything that we want. Now we want to send this data to the backend. Let's make this function asynchronous, and here we will await fetch. The endpoint is http localhost port 8000/API/register, and it will be, let's add some options. The method will be a post request. We need to add the headers, which is content type application JSON, and the last one is the data that we want to send. So we will add here the body, and we have to send it as a string. So JSON stringify the data, and that's it. So this is the request that we will send to the backend. So let's test it. Let's inspect, and let's register this user, and we successfully registered. The response is successful. Now after we register, we want to redirect to our login. So we need to use the router. To redirect, create a variable router is equal to use router. Also import use router from Vue router. After we finish, we need to await router push to the login page. So let's create another user now, and we successfully redirected to the login page. Now let's go to the login page, and let's try to submit the form again here. So let's make the language to TypeScript. Set up here, and here we'll also create a reactive. So let's import reactive from Vue, and the data will be equal to reactive email and the password. Let's return this data and we will use it here as a vModel. So vModel data.email, and let's do the same for the password. So let's add the submit function also here, submit, and let's return it. Submit here that prevent will be equal to this submit function. And what is left now is to send the request again. So I will copy this part to the login, and everything is the same except now we send the request to login. So everything should be like this, except we need another option here, which is credentials, and I will set it to include, because when we send the request to the backend we will receive an HttpOnly cookie, and we have to add this option, otherwise we won't get that cookie. Also make the function asynchronous here because we waited, and after we log in we want to redirect, so we will get a router here equals to use router, wait router push to the main page. So let's test this form also. We can see we don't have any cookies here, so go to storage cookies here and let's try to log in. a@a.com and the user we just registered, sign in, and as we can see we got a JWT cookie here which is HTTP only. So this is the cookie that will let us retrieve the user. Now that we got the cookie, let's go to the home, and here we will retrieve the user. So first I'll make this TypeScript and add the setup function here. Now we want to send the request to the backend to get the user. We don't have to do it directly here, so we need fetch, etc., etc. We have to import something, so we have to import on mounted from Vue. So this is similar to Vue2 mounted. So this is a function now on mounted, and this function can be asynchronous, and inside we need to fetch. So I'll copy this and paste it here, and this will fetch to API/user is a get method, so we don't send also the data. And we want now this user information to first let's see if we got the user, and indeed we got the user because of this cookie. So the user is retrieved. Now if I delete the cookie and refresh, I'll get an error. So we need that cookie, so I'll log in again now, and we got the user here. So we got the user. Now let's change the message. Now instead of reactive, I will use a ref. And ref is similar to reactive, but reactive is used for objects and ref is used for single values. So in our case, message will be a ref, and the default value will be you are not logged in, and we will return this message. And we will display it here, so message. So you are not logged in. So let's set the message based on this result here, and let's get the response, which is equal to this request, and the content is equal to await response.json, and this content is the user that we want to display the message. So to set the value in a ref is different than in reactive. Here we have to use message.value is equal to content name, because the content is our user. So I will add here also, I'll add it like this: hi content name. And if we see now, is hi A. A is the name of the logged in user. So the difference between ref and reactive is that reactive is using ref for every property here, and usually reactive is used for objects which are similar. So these are the values for the login and these are for the register. If you have separate objects, it's good to use them with ref, and to assign them you have to use that value. So we added everything. Only problem now is that we need to make login and register into a logout button. So how do we do it? We will do it via Vuex. So let's add here a state that by default we are authenticated false. So we are not authenticated. An action is something that we do, so we have to create here a function that sets the authentication to true. So I'll call it setAuth, and this will be a function that we want to commit something. So commit here. We want to commit this change so the mutation can handle it. So the first parameter is I forgot the type, but are the options, and the second parameter is our variable, so if it's authenticated or not. So I'll call it auth, and it will be a boolean. In the end we want to commit it, so this variable will have a commit and we have to commit it. So to use the commit, we have to first set the type, which is a mutation function, and the second value is this auth variable that we provided. So this is how this commit works. Let's also set the type, because TypeScript will complain otherwise. So the commit here will be a type of commit from Vuex. Don't forget also to import it. So this will look weird, but if you don't add it, TypeScript will complain. Now, when you commit, we have to set a type. I'll call it setAuth. You can put the same name as this one, but I wanted to make it distinction, because this setAuth here is another function, and it is used in the mutations here. So the mutations connect this function with the state. So the first variable is the state. The second variable is the auth that we committed. So we committed this. So this is auth, which is boolean. And what we'll do next? So this we have to set the state authenticated equals to this auth. I will also set this state has authenticated as a boolean. So we have to set these types because we are using TypeScript and it will complain for sure. So what we did now is the simplest function ever. We have a variable and the default value is false. When we set the authentication here, we can set it as we want, and I will show you when we use it. And once we dispatch an action, the mutation connects that action with the state. So Vuex is configured successfully. Now let's use it. Let's go to our home and I will wrap this with a try catch. If it fails, we want to set the authentication to false. So let's use Vuex here. And to get the Vuex, so we have to get the store is equal to use store. Let's also import it. So import store from Vuex here. To use the store, we have to use this variable. So here we will await store dispatch, and we have to dispatch the event. The type here is our action. So we have the list of actions here, and this is the actions that we want. I'll copy this, paste it here, and we set this, we dispatch this action. And the other parameter is we want to send if it is authenticated or not. So this is a boolean, and here I'll just say true, and that's it. When it fails, it goes here, we'll say the authentication to false, and that's it. Now where do we use this value? We'll use it to the nav component. So here we'll display the logout button. So let's make the language to TypeScript. Add the setup here. And here we'll get the store. And to get the authentication variable, I'll call it auth. The way to do it is by using computed. So we need to import computed from Vue. So this is a computed value, and the value is gotten from store dot state dot. So this value will be the value, this one from the state. So I will copy this and I will paste it here. So this is authenticated. Now we got the variable and we have to return it. And to use it, we have to use it here. So I will add an if here. If it's not authenticated, we will display this login and register. If it is authenticated, so we'll copy this again, we'll show only the logout button. So that's it. Now let's see what this looks like. As we can see logout here is changed. So now let's try to log out and to see if this changes again. So let's add the function here. So logout is a function. Let's return the logout. And here we will log out. Sorry, it should be a click to log out. And when we log out, we need to post to the backend. So I'll make this asynchronous. I'll copy the fetch here. I'll paste it to the navigation. And this will be logout. And we don't need the body. we just need the method post, content type, and the credentials, because we need the credentials to remove the cookie. Since it is a router link also, we will redirect also to login. So we will clear the cookie, also we will redirect to login. Let's see it now. So I'll see the cookie, logout, the cookie is successfully removed. So this is our login. If we go there again, you are not logged in. If we log in again, we display the name here and the logout button appears here. So this is our authentication system. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.